Call the Night Volume 2 Review. Ko, the 14-year-old suffering from insomnia, and Nasuna, the vampire who loves to suck his blood, have shared the first kiss. They must mean that in love and Ko can become a vampire now, right? As it turns out, relationships are a lot more complicated than that. But as Ko starts to see Nasuna in a different way, he discovers more outside about the nightlife that lies outside the vampires and regular drunks. What do other people choose to wander around in the middle of the night? It will Ko become just like them as it reaches adulthood, or will he find a way back to the daytime? The first volume of this supernatural coming-of-age comedy twists many expectations, for the vampire not being your typical dark and broody anti-hero, and human love interest not being a female teen who's not like the others. And the second volume continues to surprise the audience in new ways. In the later half of Volume 1, where we introduce to Akira, a childhood friend of Ko's, who learned that Ko has not only stopped coming to school, but falling into the bad crowd, aka vampires, with respect for her to play the role of the second love interest, the one wanting to push Ko into leaving the nightlife and returning to normality. While she does share her concerns for Ko's new friends, she also has more going on with her character. Akira makes it clear to Ko that while she doesn't agree with what he's doing, she can also see that Ko is happy. Instead, she extends an olive branch to remain friends, no matter what happens, which is very touching and also shows that dealing with her emotional issues by running into the night, even if she remains unaware of it. There's a fun scene in this book where the three of them are playing video games with natural friendly banter between them. A funny gag where Nasuna offers a kiss to the winner, which Ko takes in his stride, but Akira is clearly embarrassed by adding in some funny puns thrown in for some good measure. It is great scene that perfectly establishes their dynamic. Another way the series plays with expectations is with Nasuna. There's one chapter where it's exclusively from her point of view. The first one so far, that you would expect to see the true life of a vampire, reducing people into giving her blood, meeting other vampires, the dark underbelly of the night, etc. Instead, we get her taking a bath, complaining about her post not being delivered, playing a stray cat, just normal stuff. The book also learns a lot more heavily into vampire being a metaphor for sex and prostitution. So Nasuna continues to not only have a healthy blood drive, but it also has to be a part of everyday life is refreshing. However, the series never lets the audience forget what she actually is. There are many scenes where Ishii and Ko are being sweet, intimate, suddenly turn flirtatious and dangerous when Nasuna goes in for the bite, with a seductive close-up to frame the twist in mode. Despite their good chemistry and potential for lifelong friendship, at the moment their power dynamics are still very unbalanced, but it all plays into the story very well, carefully framing Ko's journey as he moves Porter away from the light and into the darkness. Speaking of Ko, he still remains point of view in his character arc for the book, his growing feelings towards Nasuna, and as he's a 14-year-old boy, it's clear that his inner thorn oil increased in having inappropriate thoughts as part of his journey during puberty. Then we raised a few alarm bells, as normally the subject isn't always handled well, especially when it involves a more sexually provocative woman. It is just on the cusp of starting it. He's not even sure of himself and how deep his feeling go and given his age. It's an uncomfortable time that everyone must go drunk, like the nightlife itself. As the story unfolds, he's discovering more about himself and who he is as a person. With the last chapter of the book hitting a new arc of sorts, he'll be meeting new people each night. His first encounter is with Shirakawa, a young woman who is overworked and struggling for her work-life balance. It's nice to see a series come down to harshly on the unhealthy office environment that Japan is famous for. And even on Ko's words of advice are on the naive side, it does provide her with some clarity and hope at least, to step in the right direction. Translation continues to be provided by Junko Koda. There are no translation notes, but I love how she maintains Nasuna's unique tone of voice and balances Ko's growing pains and his dialogue very well. Call Night continues to be a fantastic series, only there's no set ongoing story for now. The journey with these characters is, so far, very entertaining and well written. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. 9/10.